and they abducted me and detained me in Comunicado in violation of 13 court orders. They then most recently sedated me and removed me out of the country by force against my will and in contempt of court orders. So I did not travel out of Kenya. It's not up to me to return, quote unquote, to Kenya. It's up to the authorities, the regime in Nairobi, to obey the court orders and allow me back in Kenya.
Okay, so what are you doing to fight that? What are you doing to get yourself back to Kenya?
Jeff, the unfortunate thing with the Kenyan media is the glorification of tyranny that has taken over the country. We have a constitution, which is the supreme law. And the constitution says that the only institution that has power to resolve disputes between parties, even between the government and individuals like me, is the High Court of Kenya. The High Court of Kenya has given me 13 orders that directs the authorities to facilitate my return, to return my passport in its valid form, the passport they took from me illegally and destroyed, and that if they cannot return the passport because they have destroyed it, to issue me with a valid Kenyan passport so that I can enter Kenya.
Okay, so what
the last time I tried to exercise my rights, let me just finish. The last time I obeyed the court order, Justice Chacha Mweta's order of February 25th, 2018, they refused to allow me into the country. A lot of people, including people like you, have refused to acknowledge the fact that I did not travel out of Kenya, and that the court has ordered that Uhuru Kenyatta, William Ruto, and their goons return me to Kenya.
Miguna, you keep blaming everyone and anyone, but what are you doing about coming back to Kenya? That's the bottom line. What are you doing?
No, Jeff. Jeff, I think that it is wrong, and this is the problem I have with you and others. It's not everybody. It is just people glorifying tyranny. I have gone to court. I went to court through my lawyers. I got court orders. What else do you want me to do? I don't have an army. I'm not a country. All I can do, and Jeff, you've been arrested before. You were taken to court. I have not been taken to court. Raila Odinga was arrested for treason in 1982. He was taken to court. Everybody who has been arrested has been taken to court. So what is this that I cannot be taken to court?
Okay, so maybe
when
if
they
you
arrested
come,
me,
maybe if you come
they
back
arrested
home,
me as a Kenyan.
Yeah, maybe if you come back home, Miguna, you can go through the court system, but you need to be on the ground first, don't you think?
How did I get myself from Kenya, Jeff? How did I get myself from Kenya? I was removed from my own house. You have to always underline that. I did not travel out of Kenya. And I've traveled back trying to go to court in compliance with the court orders, and they have refused to allow me into the country.
Okay.
So how do you suggest I get back?
Okay, Miguna, given the chance, let's say, in a perfect world, let's say you were given the green light to come back home. One, would you?
I am not talking about a perfect world. I'm talking about court orders which are valid. I want them respected so that I can return home.
No matter how long it takes?
Jeff, there are court orders. Kenya is a country, presumably, that is governed by the rule of law. And the Constitution says all of us are not above the law. That includes the people in government. So why is it that you are trying to suggest that these people should not obey court orders?
Okay,
are they above the law?
Okay, why is it so difficult for you to reapply for your Kenyan citizenship, Miguna? They said you need to just reapply.
Because I never lost it. Jeff, you can't apply for something you already have.
Okay.
It's like telling you, Jeff, right now, as a journalist, that you go back to standard 1 or grade 1 and start primary school all over again when you already graduated more than 30 years ago.
It's not quite the same.
Is that right?
It's not quite the same because you did.
It is worse than that. It is exactly that.
But you did surrender your Kenyan passport some time back, didn't you?
I never did.
Your original Kenyan passport.
I never surrendered my Kenyan passport.
When you took up Canadian citizenship.
I never did. No, you never do that. Listen, Jeff, in 1987, I was forced into exile. They took my passport away. And in 2009, I was issued a valid Kenyan passport, like I should have had, just like you have.
Yeah, let's not forget.
I never gave up my citizenship.
Let's not forget back then, Miguna, there was no dual citizenship.
Jeff, I want you to prove. No, Jeff, you are acting like you are an agent for the government. Can you table evidence that I renounce my Kenyan citizenship?
I'm not saying you renounce.
Can you table that evidence?
I'm just saying back then.
No, I'm asking you.
Miguna,
I'm asking you right now, yes. Jeff. Can you prove that Miguna is not a Kenyan?
I cannot prove that, but before 2010, before the Constitution of 2010, it was illegal to have two passports or dual citizenship.
You see, the problem with you is that, first of all, you never went to law school, so you don't understand law.
Oh, Miguna,
Secondly, you are not a judge.
Don't trivialize things.
No,
man.
You are not a judge. Jeff, you are not a lawyer. So don't behave like you are one. I am a lawyer.
So you're saying it was okay to have two passports?
No, please. Can you not interfere with me? Can I speak?
Go ahead.
One, the matter is in court, and the court has ruled on the matter. Justice Luka Kimaru ruled that the purported action by Matiang'i saying that I'm not a Kenyan is null and void.
Sure. Okay.
He also ruled that the decision, he also ruled, I have to say this, he also ruled that the illegal decision seizing my passport, taking it away from me, and declaring that it is not valid is also illegal.
Okay,
null and void.
Miguna, let me ask you this.
That is what you should focus on.
Fine. None of this is in dispute, but let me ask you this. Wouldn't it be tactically smart for you to be on the ground in Kenya fighting this fight rather than outside there in Toronto? I mean, just tactically.
No, I think, Jeff, you are being mischievous because, number one, I did not remove myself from Kenya. So, of course, I was in Kenya fighting the allegations in Kenya. The people who cannot face me in court in Kenya decided to physically, forcefully, violently remove me from Kenya. Now, let me answer directly to your question, because this is the mischief. Once they remove me from Kenya as a Kenyan, because they charged me in Kenya as a Kenyan, now, notwithstanding the court orders, they want me to return as a foreigner, even though I'm a Kenyan.
Okay.
So that the orders I've already received from the court will be nullified by that action of me returning as a foreigner, even though I'm not a foreigner, number one. Number two, so that they can curtail my legal activities in Kenya, so that I cannot lead NRM Kenya, I cannot participate in politics, I cannot contest for elections in 2022, I cannot own property in Kenya, I cannot practice law in Kenya, I cannot live as a Kenyan.
Okay, but Miguna,
would you accept that?
Miguna, you come back as a Canadian.
No, would you accept that would you accept that? Would you accept that?
I would accept that if I can apply for citizenship once on the ground, Miguna. Once on the ground.
Why would I apply for something? No. Why would I already won cases in court, Jeff. These people went to court with me. I won the cases in court. The court said I'm right, they are wrong. Why should that be overturned by a bureaucratic action at the airport?
But you know, Miguna, that's going to mean you're going to be...
The court also ordered...
That's going to mean you're going to be in Canada for a long time.
No, you are speaking for the state or you are speaking as a journalist. Because if you are speaking as a journalist and you are serving public interest, You should be on my side insisting that the courts must be obeyed.
Absolutely,
the court
Miguna.
orders must be obeyed.
But
that's what you should be saying.
But Miguna,
you should not be saying, Jeff, don't argue with me. Let me answer.
Answer, Miguna.
You are a journalist. You ask a question. I must answer the question.
And you must let me ask
You are now telling me, no. Let me answer your question. You are telling me, you are suggesting that I help them disobey the court orders so that they can win a case I already won. Is that rational? Is that intelligent?
Okay, so how long do you plan to be there,
I go
Miguna?
to court, I win a case, then I help them defeat me when I've already defeated them in court.
Okay, so how long do you plan to fight this fight?
As long as it takes. Change does not take a short time to fight. I am not worried about time. I'm not worried about the threats. I'm not worried about the force they are using, which is illegal. I am going to stand on the side of justice and right.
Okay, Miguna, a moment ago you talked about...
I'm right and they are wrong.
Okay, a moment ago you talked about your NRM, your army, the National Resistance Movement Army, right?
It is not an army, it is a movement. It is a movement.
Who's in this movement, Miguna, right? Who's in this movement other than you and people on social media?
Why do you want to know and you are not a member? Why are you interested and you are not a member? You have not applied to join?
But we just need to know who else is in there, Miguna.
No, why are you interested? You have not asked Jubilee who are its members. And if you are a member, you have not gone there to take account. Why do you want to know who NRM is, who belongs to NRM?
Jubilee
that was not the issue.
Jubilee members
when I was arrested, listen, my friend, when I was arrested, I was not arrested because of the NRM. I was arrested because I swore Raila in as the people's president on January 30th, 2018. That's why I was arrested. I was charged with treason. I was not charged for being a member of the NRM.
But we still, okay, if someone
and
wants
the decision by Matiang'i...
Yes. If someone wants to join your movement, Miguna...
No, can I say this?
Go on.
The decision by Matiang'i purporting that he banned NRM was also set aside by the court.
So if we were to ask who else is in NRM, who would you say?
Ordinary citizens of Kenya are in the NRM. And you know that is true because the regime in Kenya would not be trembling if NRM was nothing. Why do you think? Since independence, they have never forced anybody into exile the way they did. They have not sedated anyone and forced them outside like they did to me. Miguna, they take people to court since independence.
Miguna, real quick.
Why do you think they cannot allow me to come back to Kenya?
Okay. If you were to come back, would you think about working with Sonko?
Jeff, I will come back. And I will make announcements as to who I work with or who I don't work with when I am back. Or when I would like to do that. Today, that was not the purpose of this interview.
I know that, but everyone wants to know the question, Miguna, because your name came up. The governor...
Not everyone. Everyone includes me, and I don't want to know.
You don't want to know what? That Sonko nominated you?
I don't want to know what you are asking because it is not a question that Sonko has asked me. It is not a question that other Kenyans have asked me. We were doing this interview because you made derogatory remarks about me. You claimed that I was not a Kenyan citizen, and I wanted you to prove today where you got that information from. What evidence you have. And clearly you don't have any evidence. You have tabled none.
I asked you a very simple question. And I don't know why you're just beating around the bush. Would you work with Sonko? That's
I'm not beating around the bush, Jeff.
Okay, would you work with Sonko?
Jeff, that question I will not answer. No, I will not answer that question. Sonko is a Kenyan. Miguna is a Kenyan. It depends on what you mean by working.
But you're a straight shooter, Miguna. You never beat around the bush. Why are you beating around this one?
No, because you want a diversionary issue. And Jeff, you know that you can't force me to do anything that I don't want to do. It doesn't matter how many guns you hold to my head.
I'm not going to hold any. No. I'm not going to hold any guns to your head, Miguna. But I will ask you this.
No. I will not answer a question. I will not answer a question I have said I am not going to answer today.
Okay, you ran for governor of Nairobi, Miguna.
It's self-evident.
What do you think?
And I could not have run if I was not a Kenyan.
What do you think of how Nairobi is being run?
Jeff, today I am talking about Kenya. I am talking about how Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto and their colleagues are looting and violating our rights. And tomorrow, Alamin Kimathi will make a comprehensive statement on my behalf during the procession in Nairobi. That's all I wanted to say today. And I will talk about Nairobi when I deem it fit to talk about Nairobi.
And you don't deem it fit to talk about Nairobi now, 8 months after Governor Sonko came into office?
Not on compulsion from you. I talk about anything I would like to do when I would like to do it. Like Bantu Steve Biko said, I write and speak about what I want.
No, he actually said, I write what I like, but you paraphrased him. That's fine.
I can. Am I not allowed to?
Miguna, you finally cracked a smile.
Jeff, I'm a tough cookie. You can't push me around.
You're a tough cookie, Miguna. You're a tough cookie. But why are you fighting me?
Don't joke around. Don't joke with torture. Because you cheapened and glorified torture. You tried to make jokes about how I was tortured. And that is not professional. And that is not something we should tolerate.
Miguna,
encourage professionals.
You make fun of just about everyone you want.
Torture.
You make fun of everyone.
I will never make fun of torture. I do not make fun of torture. I do not make fun of detention without trial. I do not make fun of extrajudicial killings. I don't make fun about human rights. So, Jeff, don't joke around with me.
I'm not joking around with you, Miguna, and I wouldn't, but I would ask you this. You're sitting there with that beautiful backdrop of Toronto. Beautiful. But it means nothing because you're on the outside looking in. You need to be on the inside, Miguna.
You know, Jeff, the problem with you is that you don't know history. In 1955, Fidel Castro was cast away from Cuba to Mexico. And Mexico City was more beautiful than Havana. 18 months later, he was able to remove Batista. Exile is not the end of the world. There are people who have been to longer exiles and returned to victory. Vladimir Lenin is one of them. He went to more than 3 countries in exile. There are a lot of other people who have gone to exile. Nelson Mandela was in jail for 27 years. So don't laugh because I'm in exile.
All right, Miguna. I hope we get to talk some more. We'll have to leave it at that for now. Thanks so much for your time.
Yes, thank you very much, Jeff.
Miguna, the man with the same name twice, talking to us at Citizen Television for the very first time since he was bundled onto that aircraft more than 2 months ago.